This is the Nothing phone. This released about 2 years ago back in 2022 by, at the time, a new company called Nothing. This phone, I reviewed really well. I really liked this phone. I reviewed it back in early 2023, right when the beta program launched. I really wanted this phone. I knew that I would end up keeping it, so I ended up going and buying this on the beta program that they had at the time. I still don't regret that. This is a really cool phone. I'm very glad that I've had the chance to own this phone. And I will also say, I think this phone deserved a lot more credit. This phone was one of the most unique phones of its time. For one, this thing had these LED strips which actually made a use out of this glass back, which a lot of companies just have a glass back to allow wireless charging. Nothing made more use out of the glass back than just wireless charging and a premium feel. Nothing put these LEDs here, which in my opinion actually do have a function, because if I wanted to see how charged the phone is, there is a battery progress bar right there. It lights up. This phone is just about fully charged right now. Yeah, if I needed to, I could just plug the phone in, see how far it was charged. It just makes it really easy to do. Notifications would also show up through this. I believe there's also some other features, like there was a feature to use this as a camera flash, which I actually really liked. It just gave this nice full effect to the camera shots. This phone just looks great. I have heard mixed reactions about this phone. In my opinion, it looks great. I think that the color is nice. It's this nice kind of grayish black color. The overall design, it's unique, but it looks very well put together. It just looks really cool, and I feel like this is the type of phone that feels very premium in hand. Now, I would actually say this phone feels a lot nicer in hand than my Samsung Galaxies have. I've had a lot of Samsung Galaxies. None of them have actually felt as good as this phone. This phone's metal sides just feel very, very high quality. This actually reminds me of like iPhones, especially the design. It has this glass back, which is now plastic on the Nothing Phone 2A, which is kind of nonsense in my opinion. Just the general design and feel in the hand of this phone is great. I have no complaints on that. Now, what I do have a complaint about is how Nothing brought this phone to America. So I don't think this phone was originally meant to sell in America. I think that originally Nothing just wanted this phone to be in, I guess, Europe and Chinese regions. I guess that eventually they said, yeah, let's bring this phone to America. Halfway through the phone's production run. That's kind of nonsense, because they also did it in a weird way. Anyone who wanted to buy this phone had to sign up for a beta test program, which essentially said this phone was a whole beta test. You're paying $300 to beta test the phone. Now, of course, I didn't have to send this phone back. Nothing made that very clear. This phone was mine to keep, but it was running pre-release beta software too, which I don't believe you could downgrade, which was a little bit weird. Of course, now this phone has gotten a couple updates since it came out. The whole entire process was weird. I don't think that I could have got this on Amazon. I think I could only get this from Nothing or eBay. And another thing, I wanted to get the 256GB model in white. I was limited to getting the 128GB model in black, which I'm not gonna lie, this is a nice color. I like the black color. I just think that the white color looked a little bit better with the whole LED rings around it. 128GB, not really enough. I wanted 256GB. Couldn't get that. So the truth about it is, they made the way that you access this phone weird, and that really turned a lot of customers away from this phone, because people would rather buy something like an iPhone or a Samsung than pay to have a beta test of a new phone from a company who nobody's heard of. And I think that brand recognition is a big thing in phones. Nobody knows who Nothing is. Nobody knew who Nothing is except for tech enthusiasts. So that's pretty much what dug this phone into the ground. Now, the Nothing Phone 2 and 2A seem to be doing a little bit better, but I still think that Nothing as a company needs a lot more brand awareness in the US. Honestly, it's really hard to have a phone be successful in the US nowadays. There's only 3 brands that people buy from: Samsung, Apple, and Google. Overseas, it must be a lot easier, because this phone seems to be selling better overseas. Huawei sells overseas. Pretty sure that like OnePlus sells really good overseas. That's essentially why this phone didn't sell as well as I hoped it would. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.